Wild of World has made it clear that the official line of communication is through their designs. BelsheBits here, where I break down the complexities of Wild of World into manageable bits of information. Today we're going to go through DevLog 6 and look over some of the bits of information that I thought were interesting. Here in the beginning we just see the introduction, talking about some of the things that we're going to go through, dropping some of the graphics that I just love with the wheels and Wiami in the back. All of this content is always created within World, which is something that is always fascinating to me. Obviously, there's probably some, photoshopping or other type of enhancements made to the images, but the core, the meat of it all, always comes from within World. And so they just go over talking about Act 1 of the Domino season, which just has been absolutely fascinating. Just look. Here, we'll go through. We've got Wild of World with NVIDIA, which basically will allow everyone to be able to play Wild of World, even if you don't have a gaming rig, which is pretty fascinating. Also, the addition to AR and Marcus to the team, which they have been an absolute delight within the community. They're constantly in touch with the testers of Midnight in Wiami, and giving tips as well as looking for feedback. So I have really enjoyed watching their communications and seeing other Wilders a little bit more capable than me on the track, be able to rub shoulders with them and be able to learn from them and just improve their skill. So that's been really fascinating. Here we have the announcement with Metagravity, which is a solution to the continuity issues that inevitably the simulation will have when you want, they say here 30,000 concurrent players to be within Wiami. You have to come up with a lot of solutions in order to make that happen. So here they are trying to work with Metagravity to make that happen. It's been really, they've been an awesome team. I've really liked their communications. I really like how they speak highly of Wilder World. And so it's really awesome to kind of see them partnering up with us. There was a Spaces where Neo and the founder were speaking, and it kind of blew everyone's mind with kind of the complexities of the things that they were talking about. But what I loved from that Spaces is that they're really looking for a solution to these problems where you don't really hear that from other projects. They're more about the hype, the partnerships, the branding, the flashy things, right? The shiny things. I love that Wilder World focuses on actual solutions. So I really have enjoyed this alliance with Metagravity. And then this one really blew everyone's mind. The partnership with Polygon and Celestia in order to create a new network, Meow Chain, which will be in collaboration with Polygon and Celestia. One is to just each one of them provide the tools. I'm not someone that knows all the technical terms. I learn about them and I start to understand. But what I do understand on a very basic level is that the three of them are combining together in order to make a gasless network. Because when you have a world completely built on NFTs and tradable goods and different things like that, you're going to have a lot of transactions. And if we're using just plain old Ethereum, no one's going to use it because it's going to be way too expensive for people to use the network. And so you have to come up with a solution. And so Wilder World and Zero and Meow Chain, Celestia and Polygon, all of them are combining together in order to come up with a solution to make it a much better user experience with once the whole world is opened up. Right now, we're kind of utilizing parts of that, testing Mild, which is just a moderate version of Wild within Midnight in Wiami. And so all of this is basically testing in order to make sure that when it goes live to the public, that everything's smooth and working well. And so this was a really mind-blowing announcement for the community. Brought a lot of attention with that one. We also have the announcement of teaming up with Superverse. I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical with this. I wasn't exactly sure how I felt about, like, Elio is, he seems like a great guy. I've watched a lot of his videos. Alec, for me, isn't necessarily my cup of tea, which is fine. So a lot of people, they really like that kind of straightforward, hard, kind of like, I don't care what anyone else thinks, I'm just going to kind of get it done, which is fine. Like, I don't think he's out to like screw over his community or anything like that. I think he's just very blunt and very straightforward, and he just approaches it in a way that just doesn't necessarily resonate with me. And so I was just a little hesitant. That's all. I just wanted more information. And so when the Zine came out about Superverse and came out about how they were working together in order to get Wilder World in the hands of everybody, it started to make better sense. And I actually learned a lot about Superverse. I really liked the different studios that they're working with, the different games that are going to be available. I like the fact that there's going to be continuity between the Super token and the Wild token. I liked that it brought eyes to Wilder World, as well as brought more attention to me to other games. Off Grid is one I've kind of been keeping my eye on. It just reminds me a lot of old school Call of Duty. When I used to play the World War II and Modern Warfare. It's a time where I got on and played with my brother and some of his friends and some of my friends. And we had a great time. And then when Zombies came out, it was something that we loved to be able to experience. And so Off-Grid is just something, for some reason, resonated with the nostalgia of that time. And so I really liked the different projects that Superverse is partnered with, and I think we should all be proud as Wilders to be partnered with them. And then obviously the big one that everyone was like super excited about was the partnership with Epic Games, which again, it just brings the game closer to everybody, right? Like, makes it more available to everybody. That's something that Wilder World is really trying to push, that it's a game with everything for everybody, right? It's not just a racing game. There's going to be combat, there's going to be mining, which is basically going to be like SimCity. There's going to be like MMO, open world, and I think that's just the beginning. And then there's going to be a combination of all of it. And so, as someone who's played World of Warcraft, I like that open world of running around, doing some quests, doing some things, hanging out with some friends. I like some competitive nature to it and stuff, but World of Warcraft is just so difficult for any new individual to like play. You've got so many add-ons, so many different things to be aware of. That you have to grind to get to a level, then you have to grind to have gear, then you have to do, on and on and on and on, which in its own right I really enjoyed in some aspects, but it's very time consuming. It's really hard to be competitive. I preferred the social aspect behind something like World of Warcraft, and something within Wilder World is that awesome kind of, we call it the Wilder spirit, but it's that connection, right? It's that like human element within the community. And that's something I really, really, really hope continues on as more and more people come on. I know there has been a lot more people coming into Discord, having conversations, and I've really liked a lot of the new community members that have come in. And so I hope that just continues. I hope that's the spirit of everything, of when people come in. There's going to be really competitive people. There's going to be different clans, different groups, different, cliques here and there, which is totally fine. But I just hope that like overall Wilder spirit stays vibrant throughout the history of Wilder World. Moving on, GDC, this was really cool, where you have Frank and Phoenix just doing their thing, showing a good vibe. We just were with a lot of different projects with Metagravity, so it was really cool to just kind of see how how everything went there, and it was a huge success. So it was awesome to see. Kind of moving on from this. They just go on to talk about GDC and how successful it was, and how they love to see a lot of the community show up, and how there was huge success, and how people reacted to Wilder World and what Wilder World has been doing. And so I think those kind of moments just really re-energize the team, right? They've been grinding away for 2 years behind the scenes. It's not easy building in front of a community. And so I think I think something that the Wilder World team, the Zero team, Meow Chain team, I see them all as like one huge team, broken up into different bits, doing different parts of the solution. But they just don't get enough credit for how they kind of embrace the criticism that comes their way. They've made mistakes, absolutely. They admit to them and they take accountability for them. But something that they do really well is how they react to those criticisms. And often they go back and they improve on what's being criticized and come back with something better. And then they decide, we're going to reward the community unnecessarily and make things so much better for the community to grab a larger piece of the successful pie. If Wilder World becomes as successful as many of us believe. And so I really like that they were doing really well. Here they talk about the version of 0.3.0. I'll tell you, it was really fun playing version 2 or 0.2. Version 0.3 is probably 5-10 times better. And I don't know if it's because, here, in my opinion, these are some of the aspects. One, multiple vehicles, and both vehicles I enjoy driving for different reasons. The Ferrari and the Lambo, a lot of fun to play. The wanting of racing a new track, that was a lot of fun to try to get at Seaside. Luckily, because of the New York, the New York event that we had for NFT New York, we were able to play some, so that was a lot of fun. But honestly, a huge upgrade is the fact that you can talk with the other racer as soon as you get to the line. And you can talk crap, you can just hang out. I mean, I've been getting to know Wilders that I haven't had a conversation with ever. And it's just a way to connect with people. And for me, that's the most important thing. Plus, there's a competitiveness, you get points. There's also picking up mild, which is just, like I said before, basically fool's gold. It's just for testing out everything. You get to give feedback, you get to make change, to be able to be a part of the intricacies of how to improve a game is amazing. And then the fact that they keep improving, time and time again with each version, and listen to the community, it's important. It's vital. They literally listen to the community and they make changes. They're not arrogant about what they think is best. They really just want to make a game that's high quality and fun and kind of meets the style, like racing, right? They want to create a truly simulated racing game. And so they're making those efforts, but they also want to just make it really fun for an average player, which would be me. And I really enjoy it, and I have a lot of fun crashing into walls and rubbing people and making sparks and all the things. And so version 0.3 has been a lot of fun. I'm probably missing a lot of different things, but I race against really competitive people like Ever and Freestyle, Madurik, Long Sleeve. Me and Sharky have never played race together, but these are really good players. I know I'm missing others. I apologize, but there's a lot of good players. We have a lot of fun either way. Everyone is so nice. Everyone wants everyone to improve and be better and just have a good time. I love it. It's a lot of fun. So here it goes through the leveling system. It's 1,500 for number 1, 3,000 for number 2, level 2, and I think it's 4,800 for level 3. Ever's the only one at level 3, and so it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, matchmaking by level. There's not a lot of people playing right now, so some of these don't get a full true testing, but the new UI is beautiful. I love it. It's an improvement from the last one. I really enjoyed it. You can see, here you can see like how much mild you have, how many coins you pick up, kind of what your personal bests are. You got the leaderboard, and it's just a lot of fun to just be doing something with the community, actually doing something that we've been talking about for years. So it's just a lot of fun. I mean, as you can see, it's just absolutely beautiful. Oh yeah, this is a perfect example on improvement. We did not like the shortcuts. We asked for improvements. We were constantly stopped hitting things like cones and things like that, which isn't realistic. And so they made some changes. Huge upgrade. I used to hate racing on 9 Lives. Now it literally is up there with, I like all of them. I like every single track. And so now it's fun to like want to race all 3 instead of just 2, which was Meridian and Luna. And so it was really cool. So, and then they talk about, Seaside. They talk about the different vehicles. Everyone's favorite is Wantide, even though I think Lambo is moving up. For me, on Seaside, the Ferrari has been really fun. It has like a heavier butt end, and I feel like I can kind of go around the corners a little bit better. And I'll have to see if I can find one of my drifting videos. But if I do, I'll be playing it in the background to this. But I've been practicing and trying. I see everyone else do it, and I'm like, man, I want to do it. But yeah, look at the Wambo, man. The Wambo looks so good. So good. It's so much fun to drive. The Ferrari too. Great job from the team. Then just the improvements on the effects. Here they're talking about, when they go through puddles, when it's raining, if you're going through, the different viewpoints that you have that you prefer, you can kind of see. Looks like driving on dry ground. So anyways, just they go into huge detail about everything. Then they start showing Wiami. This is Wiami, guys. Look at this. This is the island. This is amazing. So beautiful. So they go on and they talk about the core developments and the different scalability things going on, just to improve the fidelity, the high quality behind everything. And the world building team is top notch, high class. The individual people themselves, as well as their talent and how well they work together and what they're producing. So hats off to them. I mean, it's just beautiful. And I love seeing like Wilders this is one of the only like contests that I didn't participate in, and I'm kicking myself every day. I would have loved to see one of my art pieces on a billboard in Wiami. I'm really upset. Hopefully they do another one and they'll be willing, and then I can participate, and then I can see some of my art in Wiami. They go in to talk about the hub. The hub. Now this is where things get really interesting in the devlog, as far as like I wasn't expecting, right? So the hub is going to be, here it says the introduction of the central complex code named the hub signifies a new development within Wilder World. Basically, without going into details, it's going to be a place where Wilders get to go in and basically train, right? Train in all different aspects of Wilder World, and they'll be able to just go in and be able to kind of have mini experiences before they go in and get the larger experiences. And so it's really cool. And then they talk about the new module highway being built, which they've been leaking, which looks absolutely beautiful. They talk about now that the buildings are going to have like landings and, balconies and dividers and different things. So, that's really, the detail, the absolute detail that Wilder World goes into when discussing this is just absolutely incredible. And then I think the number one thing, like, honestly, I mean, I used to do first-person shooter games and whatnot, like 15, 20 years ago and whatnot, but I didn't realize how much it's grown. And so anytime that anything with combat comes up, people are drooling all over it. And I would agree. It looks absolutely incredible. It looks like a lot of fun. And I get it. There's a lot of first person shooter games. I get that it's just, small iterations between this and that. But for me, it's the larger experience. It's that you can do all of these things within the actual simulation of Wilder World. That's the incredible part. That it's not just going to be a first person shooter game. It's not just going to be a racing game. It's not just going to be different types of combat games. It's not going to be any of these things, just one things. It's going to feel like a real world that you're able to run around and experience whatever flavor you have. And time is deflationary. And so like things like vehicles count, crafts, having a place to store your stuff and having a pet and a beast and different things like that. I think that's what adds that extra layer to how cool Wilder World is really coming out to be. So yeah, weapons, designs, different things like that they're coming out with. They're talking about how they're improving different things. They talk about the type of energy and what kind of bursts and what it's going to be like. I mean, the technical parts of each one of these, of how they're designing and stuff, is really incredible. And I mean, these are some of the weapons that just seemed really cool to me. I love for me, it was like a Resident Evil vibe, being just the laboratory here. For me, what caught my eyes were the bullets, how they're going into detail about each little thing about each little thing. Like the way they break down in detail is absolutely incredible. And it's fascinating to me. And I think a lot of it is that I have such a love and a huge investment within Wilder World, but there's just such a fun aspect to it, right? Like reading about how the bullets are like a certain kind of like plasma and how they're going to release from the gun and like go through. I mean, they're thinking about everything, and it's really cool. I recommend that you read through this entire thing and get all the details. I'm just kind of sharing my little bits that I really liked. They've been showing these meow bang grenades in Discord. It made a big bang, pun intended. People really enjoyed it. And then the key, I know Sharky got like a 3D replica of this key when he was in New York, winning the tournament that was there. So it was really cool to kind of see different aspects like that be made, because I guess they're able to take that like 3D rendering that they made within the game or within the world or the simulation and then create an actual 3D replica of it from a printer. So we'll probably learn more about it. They go in to talk about the procedural design of Wiami. So the way they like actually allow big buildings to be like, they wanted a city to look like a real city. Sorry, my cord. And so it's just really cool to kind of see how much detail they go in to just make sure that every detail, every aesthetic like portion of the world has attention. I love that they added the mountains in the background to add that like layer. I grew up in the mountains. We love the outdoors in my family. And so the highlands and stuff, I know once those open up, we're going to be making sure that we have, some of those, I can't remember, but make sure that we have, basically the cribs in that area, a little cabin out in the woods with no one around us, so we can just kind of relax from the busyness that we have within the city. I like having both. I like the energy you find within the city, but I prefer to live in isolation. I prefer to live in private. I love nature. My time in Hawaii was absolutely amazing of being in nature all the time. It definitely added to the well-being of my life, to the quality of my life. And so I hope I can find that within the simulation as well. So here they just continue to talk about the details of making sure that every road has the proper like signals, the proper signal like indications that it's mapped out right. Like, I mean, just look at this. I mean, this is incredible. This top-down view of Wiami looks absolutely beautiful, and I love it. Uh, and then they talk about the land, and I just love these views of the island. This is the portion of land that we're going to be able that will be part of the Genesis land collection that anyone with a Trinity minus a gen will get an airdropped piece of land with wild backing it. So a gift within a gift. I mean, who can't complain about this? This is what I'm talking about. These are the unnecessary rewards for the community members that support the project and help make sure that it becomes a reality. Talking about the highways. I mean, I think this picture is my favorite picture of Wiami so far. I don't know. There's just something about it. I think it's the blue, and I think it's just the intricacies of how everything is. This is my favorite picture. Yeah, they just continue to talk about the highways. I mean, look at this. This is in world. I mean, look at how insane this looks. This looks so freaking cool. And then they're talking about how they're not just thinking about, overpasses. They're talking about tunnels. And actually, one of the upcoming tracks are going to have a tunnel system, which they showed. Actually, I think they show it right here. You go in, which you can't really see too far ahead of you, so beware. But it just looks so cool. I mean, look at that. I don't know. I smile every time. When you've been a part of the project when there was nothing, and you start seeing something, you just get really giddy about it. You get really excited. Again, here's another thing. Wasn't even thinking about, wasn't even expecting, but there's going to be tagging all throughout the community. I should have known with someone like Frank Wilder that this was going to be a thing. Not that he goes around and tags everything, but he's kind of like that rebel artist kind of a thing. And so I think this is going to be incredible having these. This was, the community really loved seeing this within this log. And so we're going to be able to see the street art throughout throughout Wiami. And then they talk about different bridge systems and locomotive type things. They talk about how they had to build the stairs and the avatars in a way that it looked realistic, running up and down stairs, jumping over rails and things like that, as we can see here. So I thought that was really fascinating. They went in to talk about the avatars and the improvements they have. So now if you increase like the body mass, it'll also increase the facial mass, which makes it more realistic. Instead of having like a really fat body and like a really skinny face, which wouldn't look realistic, they're just improving upon the creator that we're going to be able to get our hands on when we get to build our own avatars. And so I think, again, the attention to detail, the quality behind the team of thinking about all of the things that most people aren't thinking about. I think this is awesome. Talking about how they've improved the miner suits. So you're going to be able to be a miner, a defender, a hacker, and a racer. And so right now they're showing maybe what the basic like outfit will be, or they're just showing specific like apparel, cyberware that's going to be available to the certain class that you pick. They go in talking about the details about hair color, again, more details with the avatars. They're talking about how wheels, there's going to be modifications to the wheels, and that they're working on improving the wheels to kind of fit more to the vibe within Wiami. And so they're taking they speak to it. They're taking the like OBR, which is like our base reality, and there's going to be parts of the OBR mixed with parts of the FBR, and they talk about how it fits into the storyline and the lore, which is fascinating. Like I said, I recommend that you go and read it all to kind of understand. Here's the Wambo of how it got its kind of upgrade. They go in and they show kind of some of the drawings and some of the designs they had in order to improve upon the wheels, which some of these are just, I mean, it's beautiful, right? I mean, it's so cool. Like, I don't know vehicles very well, so I can't even speak to each one of these. I just think they look really cool. So I think it's pretty awesome. They go on to talk about the Wheels Arcade and that it already happened. So congratulations to Sharky. He took home, I want to say 16,000 wild, or $16,000 worth of wild. Like, I don't know how like everything worked out, but I heard somewhere around it was like 16,000. So congratulations, Sharky. Well done. Way to represent the community and go out there and smash it. So good job, man. And then they go on and they talk about something the community does. I mean, the team does really well as, in addition to the quality of like product that they're giving out, is they're really trying to improve, like meeting the demands of the community, or not necessarily like the whiners and the complainers, but the actual like questions and concerns that a community might have. And so here they've started within the designs that you can ask questions, and then because it's in the design, this is official. So they go through and they talk about, what if someone decides to sell the land? Does the wild stay with the land, or does it go with the land? And they say no, on the secondary market, that if it acts just like an NFT, that as soon as you sell that land, the wild will go with that land, unless you deactivate the land and you just take the wild out. Then that land becomes available to anyone to reactivate it by staking more wild within it, that they then can remove at any point, but you deactivate the land and you no longer get it. So in my opinion, that's an incredible utility of both wild and an NFT, to make where there's constant like flow of wild, that everything is backed by wild, like they keep talking about. But you don't feel like you're out anything. You just have to make a choice. What do you speculate? Do you speculate that the cost of land will go up, or will wild go up more? Either way, it's the same because it's backed by wild. Or do you just need that quick liquid, and so you're going to just deactivate your land and take it? But then you lose that opportunity that land will offer, which we don't know a ton, but we know there's most likely going to be like mining resources, building things on it, and utilizing it in a way of like actually building a city within the simulation. Let's see, they talk about, do gens count towards a higher chain? So a Trinity chain is anything in addition to their original 3 assets as part of a Trinity. So if you have a wheels, a moto, and a beast, if you add on like kicks or crib or craft, you can extend that chain, and that chain has different benefits. And I have a video. You can go look at my Genesis reward video or my Trinity reward video. It explains it in more detail. But then so they're just saying here that it won't count towards Genesis land. Gens won't count towards that chain, which makes sense because they don't count towards the actual, they don't count towards a Trinity during the Genesis land drop. They go in and talk about max chains having higher priority to closer land. They talk about if wild token raises in price, will that affect the price within Wiami? Of course, like that's why they're building the economy around wild, is so that as the interest and use of Wiami goes up and down, so will most likely the cost of wild. So it's just like a true market, right? Like that. This is a market maker, right? Wilder World is going to be a market maker. And within it, it's going to have its own economy. And they're going to release 3 different like documents that are going to speak to the details of each one of this. But Metropolis 2.0 will speak much more specifically to Wilder World, where the other 2 probably will speak to the general tools available to anyone who wants to build a world similar to Wilder World on Zero and Meow Chain. So that'll be really interesting. And then, but yeah, I mean, I loved every part of this devlog. I hope you enjoyed my little bits of information, my take on how the team is doing and what I think about Wilder World. But just don't forget that the best bits are the bits found in each one of you.